Okay, Scooter Tramps and Chopper Jockeys, it's 9 p.m. on the East Coast. That means it's time for another episode of Shop Talk. I'm Chris Callen with Cycle Source Magazine, joined by my guest host tonight, Rocket Rob. What's up, baby?
Hey, just hanging out. Had a little bit of time free on the schedule, and you said I need some help, so I tried to spring in action and get down here as quick as I could.
Right on, man, right on. Me and Rob go back a long time doing this stuff when he used to bring me up to do his radio show, and it's always a blast, dude. Like, even just sitting around talking with you before the show, there's so much to talk about. You're a great conversation. Everybody's going to dig this.
I can't wait. I think we're going to have a great show with some interesting people. We were speaking off the air a bit ago. You said you try real hard to make sure that all the sponsors and all the advertisers and everybody get a little piece of the action and can come on. And tonight, I think we're going to fulfill some of those obligations.
Absolutely. So, hey, we are coming to you from the Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorney Studio. Just to remind you guys, Russ Brown brings you this show every week, every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do 90 to 120 minutes, all the bullshit we can fit, some news, some guests, all the fun stuff that goes on in motorcycling. But it doesn't happen without you guys. We're multi-streaming to about 7 different social media platforms. And to keep an eye on that and bring us up to speed, the lovely Heather Callen.
Hiya. Can I just say how impressed that 2 weeks in a row we are pretty much on time?
I know.
I'm amazed.
That means there's going to be a huge train wreck.
And I have to say this message real quick before we get any further. Barclay Smashy, happy 27th anniversary to his incredible wife, Lisa.
Right on.
So happy anniversary, guys.
The key to this show, to let you guys know, is the fact that you guys share it. You join the conversation, as you can see right off to the side here. We bring your comments and concerns up on the screen, and we try to share as much of this with you and let you be part of the conversation rather than just an observer. So jump on, make something happen.
Nice. Jimmy Breen, first time watching live, always listen to the podcast. Great show, loving it already.
Yeah, I should mention that, right? That it also goes out as 2 podcasts. So for you podcast nuts, we got you covered, man.
Hopefully 90 minutes from now, he still loves it. We'll see.
So, Rob, tell me what's up in the world of drag specialties right now. I know you guys are getting ready to wrap another catalog. We've been keeping an eye out for the old book bike, of course.
Well, those guys and gals, that put the catalog out, think about having to bind that many pages. You of all the people would understand. That's how the old book kind of came about. The fat book was getting so big, the bind wasn't going to be able to hold it. So they splintered it off. It goes from Evo back to shovel to pan and knuckle and things like that. But what the crew are doing right now is they have these tours. They put together 4 or 5 different vendors, I should say, whether it's an exhaust company, a tire company, seat, whatnot, and they go in, get small groups, brand new, maybe give them a way to, whether it's feature a product, maybe install it on the bike on the showroom and show people for comfort, for ergonomics, for performance, whatever. And then the last thing is to show them that, if you come out to one of these shows, maybe you learn enough that you really start to step up your knowledge in this area and you become an expert. And that's, kind of the goal for anybody that's working in this, to be an expert.
So our man Ken, I should mention, is not sitting in his customary seat this week because he's out on the quail ride, right? Him and his lovely wife are enjoying a motorcycle ride up the Pacific Coast Highway to the quail ride. And here we are, Blondie.
Stuck in the studio.
Well, the only thing about being stuck here today and yesterday, 85 yesterday.
I know.
Western PA, Northeast Ohio. 75
amazing.
Today, so that's summer's over.
You can't bitch. Can't bitch at all.
It is amazing. Oh, yes, I can, because we're not on a motorcycle.
Wow.
And we're in the office on deadline.
We could be on a motorcycle.
I can gripe all I want.
Well, let me just set it up. I mean, we have the umbrella drinks over here, the cabana set up. They don't know how posh the studio is here. How Russ Brown. I mean, folks, don't let her cry, poor mouse. The margarita machine's fired up over in the corner. It's like a water feature at most people's house, but it just pumps out margaritas. So don't, I think you're crying wolf.
So listen, before we get to our guests this evening, which we have an incredible lineup, thanks to Rob, as a matter of fact, we have Kevin Baas, Teach, is coming on. He's going to talk about the Skinny, Michael Lichter's exhibit at the Buffalo Chip in Sturgis this year. Following him, we have Luke Leatherman from Fueling coming on. Luke was fired up. We were talking all day about him coming on the show, so he's got a lot to talk about. And Chance Darling ending off the show tonight with some pretty cool history, man. I didn't realize 70 years. 2018 marked 70 years for Barnett Clutches and Cables.
Oh, wow.
Man. Yeah, right. Great show.
You know, Chance has done a lot of things, whether when he was at Corbin and those guys were doing everything from the cars and the beetle bags and everything to Barnett to when he was a pro flat track racer himself.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that guy carried a national number around for a while, so he's got a lot of things we could get into it with.
Absolutely.
I don't know him, but his name just makes me thinks he should be on a soap opera. Chance Darling.
See, I was going
We
like,
have so many. How about Luke Leatherman? I mean,
I
what
know,
kind of name
right?
is that?
dude, these are
Luke
all guys.
Leatherman, Chance Darling.
These are all guys from like a
Total
James
TV
Bond
names, right?
James Bond movie, right? Luke Leatherman.
Oh, I mean, I tell him every time. I'm like, you have one of the toughest names going out there.
does.
Yep.
You better be able to fight. You know, I mean, you're Luke Leatherman. You know, you're like a
Yeah,
tool.
that's almost superhero.
It is.
So, hey, listen, man, Shop Talk, thank you for having us into your home. One of the things we do to kick off the show and sometimes in the middle is a little thing we call the news. Okay, first up in the news, and I had to bring this up. It's kind of just like a fun news piece, but Instagram's changing plans this year, or in the next month here. They're going to be running a test program where, get this, you're not going to be able to see how many people or which people in particular like a picture on Instagram. So if you follow Cycle Source magazine and, you know, we put something up, you won't be able to tell whether your friends think it's stupid or not. I don't know if this really affects you, but it seems to be a hot topic issue, and the social media airwaves have been going crazy about it.
I'm going to go to my safe place if I don't know who's liking my stuff and making me feel complete.
You know, and we talked about this for a minute before the show, man. Like, what this really comes down to is this whole outcome-based bullshit where, like, you know, everybody needs to receive the same amount of likes, and, you know, it's just... So you can see up on the social media lines, Teach says, I'm here. What number do I need to call? We'll actually call you, man. We'll be calling in a couple minutes here. So you know my cell phone number. That's where it'll be coming from. We'll call you in just a couple minutes, and you're all set, man.
So no more likes.
No more. No. Well, you won't be able to see them. And I guess they're just doing this as...
I need that to complete me. For the love of Mike, what's going to happen if I don't know who like... Can they respond? Can they at least put...
I think you can still comment.
Okay, thank you.
So, yeah, if you think this is batshit crazy as much as we do, let's just move on to the next news.
Why are they changing up things at work? I guess.
You know,
I mean...
It's the constant need to make things better and more. Like, probably somewhere they did a study where if you don't just see the amount of likes, it forces them to engage and comment. You know what I mean? Which, like, the actual commenting, people don't understand that these social media companies have spent billions of dollars investigating how your mind works on the most heinous drugs that you enter into your system, and then they duplicate that actual response. Yeah, it's the dopamine, man. So, like, getting you to comment, it's better for the dopamine release, and, you know, crazy. Just crazy.
So if it's your post, you will be able to see who likes it and how many likes you get. Other people will not be able to. So basically, they don't want it. They want people to be engaged because of the content, not because of the popularity contest.
Whatever.
Right?
You know,
aren't there people that make their living being these influencers on these social media things?
Well, right.
So does that basically eliminate their jobs?
Pretty much, because they will be the only ones that can see how many people like that post.
And I wouldn't feel too bad.
So they want you to like something.
I'm just going to tell Big Paul Bunyan stories to everybody. I could see me putting up something about 2 hours later. Oh my God, I'm already at 250,000 views and likes. People stop, you know.
So Ashley Woodford said it'll be a bit harder for those of us looking for sponsorship. Sponsors look at likes. Well, you'll still be able to do your reports to show your sponsors what your interaction and stuff is.
And I believe it's only a week-long test, which I think is going to fail epically. So it will really only be a week long.
I think we've spent entirely too much time on it already. So
yeah, we should get Teach on here. Now let's keep going. There's more stuff. Ooh, look at that coming up next.
yeah, how about this? So Royal Enfield, man, and this is going to be something everybody's talking about. So Royal Enfield, this coming in from the Business Journal out of Milwaukee. is set to roll out a pair of muscular motorcycle models in the U.S. In Milwaukee, they're going to come out with 2 motorcycles, the 650 Interceptor and the Continental GT 650 in North America this year. Now, what does this mean? It wasn't that long ago that Royal Enfield buckled under the pressure of what the Yanks want, and they actually put an electric starter on their motorcycles. But here, embedded in the middle of this article, you can see the impact. They're going to start under $6,000. And buddy, I got to tell you, that spells trouble for both of the other American manufacturers. When you think about the work everyone's doing for entry-level motorcycles, this becomes a real option.
They start putting piggyback reservoir shocks, classic styling, disc brakes. They have a couple different looks, nice finishes on them. I've seen them. We have a couple Royal Enfield dealers over in Northeast Ohio where I live. They're doing incredibly well with just the 500 singles. Wait till they get a hold of this thing with the twin-cylinder 650 and the piggyback reservoir shocks. I think you're going to start seeing these things at just about everywhere you go. How could you not to? The price is so right.
Oh, and one of the things that Heather and I talked about immediately on reading this was, really, if we were going to get a bike for Amelia, other than a used motorcycle that we docked her up for, if we were looking to buy a new bike, this thing comes with a 3-year warranty with complete roadside assistance. This is a legitimate motorcycle to think about for her.
Oh, she actually, she and I were talking about it last week. She said when she starts riding, she wants a Triumph bobber.
Yeah,
is what her go-to choice is, which is really surprising.
I might have mentioned it the last time. 20% of the riding public's now made up of women.
Yep.
So you're going to start seeing not only different styles of bikes, because I think gals can ride literally anything they want, but this thing's going to be when they go in and start looking at. I bet people are going to sell this based on, hey, it's going to cost you $64 a month.
Right?
You're like, what? It's $64 a month. And
they're like, I'll take 2 compared to like the base model Harley, which is what, $129 a month or something like that, $180 a month, I think.
Yeah, I mean the Sportster when it was the craziest thing ever. When Chris and I actually first met, they were still doing. Buy a Sportster, ride it for a little tiny bit, bring it back in on a soft tail or something. Yeah. It will give you all the money back. And they tried to do that again. Yep. And I don't know if it definitely didn't catch on the way it did back then.
The price point was way higher. I mean, those were when the Huggers first came out, and it was, it was a whole different world then.
Well, I remember the bikes. It had a solo seat, no back pegs, little buckhorn bars, and just a speedometer. 2.2 gallon tank, 4-speed, chain drive. I mean, it was a pretty raw bones motorcycle, and if you wanted to ride somebody, you bought a seat and pegs. If you wanted a backrest, I mean, you build it yourself. Maybe you could build it in a couple weeks because you had some extra money, or maybe it took you a few years, but you were riding the whole time.
Yep.
And it just, I don't know how they got up to $11,000 for a Sportster.
Dude, and that's what, when we talk about outreach and going to this next generation, can you imagine at 20-something carrying alone for between 11 and $12,000 carrying that paper? That's a tough proposition.
Well, I mean, it's harder and harder, and the guys at Royal Enfield certainly found a way to figure it out.
So Darren McKeag has been on quite a bit talking about this stuff with Instagram, and he's talking about 98% of his business being is Instagram responsible. So this if this does go bad, it's going to impact a lot of people, man.
Oh, absolutely.
And this is the danger, and I hate to be this guy and bring shit like this up on the show, but this is the kind of danger, man, of like these guys have created super monopolies with the traffic and of this kind of information, and the fact that it can have that much of an impact on real business. So I'm not going to say the words, government oversight or any shit like that, but it's dangerous and stupid at the same time, because we said, like, who cares?
Well, it's just something you have something that people go to, whether it's whatever social media outlook there is, and you're looking at, okay, you put something up, how's it doing, or you see something that's doing well, you check into it, what it is. Mm-hmm. If it's just going to be randomness after randomness with no real indicators as to what's going on, you just keep scrolling.
Yeah, you're going to move on.
Trust me, your time spent on it's going to be greatly decreased as you walk away and go do something.
Absolutely.
Hopefully ride your motorcycle.
Right.
Yep, absolutely. Real quick before we move on, I want to welcome Gustav Diaz. He's tuning in from Brazil.
I saw
live
that.
From
Welcome, Brazil.
Right now,
What's
so
up,
that's
man?
That's pretty awesome.
Bob Long from YouTube. Love saying what's up and giving a shout out to the YouTube guys that come in.
There was something else I was going to read.
See, I knocked you off track. And I'll take that opportunity to tell you guys that we're going to go to our first guest of the evening. This man's been a longtime supporter of the magazine, a true brother to me, and we're happy to have Kevin Baas on.
Hello?
Teach, what's up, man?
Hey, brother, how you doing?
I'm good, buddy. You're live on the air in ShopTalk.
All right, cool. Always happy to be here.
So it seems like forever since we've actually hung out together. But, man, I'm watching your stuff all the time. It was just, last week that you got a special award for the work that you're doing. You're still getting awards for that stuff.
Yeah, man, I tell you what, it's been over like 15 years of just some little punk-ass school teacher with an idea and a dream, and it's to see that it's still going on is amazing to me. But you know what? It comes down to his brothers like you, the Source and all the people in the industry, Burt Baker and the S&S crew and, everybody that's supported me. It's like, I still pinch myself. Like, I can't believe it's been like over 15 years and I'm still doing this shit. And it's crazy, it's just crazy. I don't have any way to put it in words.
Well, dude, I'll tell you what, like the passion that you show and the stuff that you're doing for the future of not just these kids, because I've watched a couple generations of these kids come through your classes now, and I've seen the impact that you've had on it. But like for our country, for setting us up where we still have the ability to make things and do things and figure things out, like it goes so much further than just that classroom where you're at.
Right. You know it, man, and that's what I love about all you that have put the time in and give me a chance. Because there's a lot of scam artists, a lot of bullshitters, a lot of people that they say they're working for a good cause, but they're just taking stuff and putting it in their pocket. And what I love about what I've done with the class is that I've been out there and I've met y'all and I've been to all the rallies, and you've seen the work the kids have done, and even with you, Chris, man, like you and Heather and Lead Sled and the boys, you've come in and like met my kids in the classroom and talked to them, and you see that it's no BS. This is a real deal thing, man.
Absolutely,
we're helping people, and it's it warms my heart. It's like I love doing it. So it's not like I'm not working hard for what I'm doing because I love what I do.
You mentioned my name is Rob Bitus, by the way. Nice to meet you. I've followed your work as well, and I know the influence you have on kind of the modern youth and what you've been able to do. You mentioned 15 years. Has the kids in the last 15 years changed all that much, or is it still kind of the same core group of kids that find themselves digging the mechanical side?
Yeah, I'll be honest, man. Like technology's advanced a great deal in 15 years. Totally. Like everybody's got a cell phone in their hands. Everybody's, it's a Google nation. But my class and the way it's run, these kids know they got to put down their phone, pick up a wrench, learn how to use a lathe and a mill, and make parts for these bikes that we're building. And it's such a cool feeling because we really haven't changed, man. We're the same. It's the same little shop class from 15 years ago that it was, and the only difference is just the way everybody else around us has changed. We really haven't changed. We're just trying to like build what we love, and we haven't jumped into the trends, like we've never done big tire baggers and stuff. Chris knows me, man. Like I rode every big mountain run the first 3 years on a knucklehead from Minnesota. It's like,
and that's no joke.
No, it's no joke. And I wasn't doing it to try to, like jump on a bandwagon or be a hipster. That was my love. That's the bikes I rode. That's the bikes I built. And there was not even a word hipster back then. It was just, we did it because we loved it. And that's what I'm relaying to my students, like don't try to be somebody you're not. Don't try to put on a vest that you just bought yesterday and put some grease on it and say you're an old biker now. You got to earn that shit, This whole world is based on credibility. And I'll be honest, man, credibility has been shit in the motorcycle scene because there's so many people, you don't know who's been riding or not. There's so many guys that, yesterday they were clean shaven, had a rockabilly haircut, and today they got a beard down to their knees and a greasy old vest, and but they still don't know how to work on an old bike. So for me, it's stay true to your what you're really about, man. Don't change for nobody or nothing. Do what you love, and it's gonna find a passion. That's why, like what I'm doing lasted 15 years because I'm not, you guys know me. I don't bullshit nobody. I do what I love, and I'm not trying to change for nobody. And I keep doing what I do. And if everybody else says they don't like what I do, then piss on them. I'm going to keep doing it and sayonara. But and the kids benefit because they learn real world skills and to be true to yourself. Don't sell out. That's I guess that's the bottom line.
Just a little bit ago, I had made a mention that we've seen that women have really started to come into the motorcycle community. They make up now roughly what they consider 20%. Have you seen any of the girls start to make that transition into the mechanical side, or any of them in your class?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's amazing. Like, I love having women in my classes. They're always the best students. I mean, there's very few of them, but they're always awesome. They're very meticulous. They love to show what they can do. It's almost like a challenge for them. Like, you know what? People think we can't. Let's show them what we can do. And I tell my girls, it's not about how big your bicep is, man. What I do with kids, you don't have to be the strongest, biggest, badass person in the classroom. It's about how big your heart is and how big your mind is for what you want to accomplish, And so girls have an equal playing field in my world. There's no guys above girls or girls. It's equal, man. It's all about, do you want to prove yourself? Work hard, put in the time, improve yourself, and you're going to be the one that comes out on top, and that's what I love about it nowadays.
Absolutely. So, hey, man, not to get off of this part of this, because your story is so great. We could talk every time you come on. We could talk for a half hour just about the work that you do with the kids. But you, like me, got started in this whole path because of your passion for motorcycles and that, like you said, the bikes that you build and you ride what you build. And this brings us to you being invited to Michael Lichter's show, The Skinny, this year. What are you bringing, man? Tell me a little bit about what Kevin Baas is bringing to The Skinny.
Well, you know me. I mean, anything I bring to a show is pre-1947, or something like that, it's just my love. Electric start bikes aren't my gig and all that stuff. I mean, I like showing these kids pre-war bikes and old stuff because I want them to learn the history. You know what, the Harleys and the Davidsons might have touched this motor, So this year I got a 1938 ULH, which is pretty badass, I mean. So for those of you listening and don't know much about, motors and years and what they are, but a 38 is a pre-war motor. This is a ULH, so it's an 80-inch flathead motor. If it's a U, it's a 74-inch, or a UL is a 74-inch. But anything with the H on to high compression, you got an 80-inch factory flathead, basically a big old tractor side valve motor.
A two-wheel tractor.
80-incher. Yeah, I love them. They can run with broken cases. These things are awesome. But most people know the little 45-inch, the Army War eras, the WLs and WLAs. But this is a big ass. I mean, you look at this motor, it's a piece of art, for an old tractor flathead motor, side valve. Yeah. So anyway, it's a 1938 ULH 80-inch. We got a magneto on it, and we're putting in a frame that a good friend of mine, Rick Bray from RKB Speed, made for us. And how that frame came about is we picked up an actual original. This is not a repop, not remade, but this is one of his original John Harmon Spurter front end. So Chris, man, that's
that's gold. That's gold, baby.
So I got this front end, man, and it was I gave the specs to Rick, and he built this badass frame to match it and sit real nice and long and skinny. And I've actually been sitting on this whole setup for a couple of years, just waiting. Every bike I build, I got a bunch of them in the works, but it's I need the right motivation to really get sparked to get one done. I mean.
Yeah, Heather will tell you that for me, that Michael can motivate me like nobody's business, man. And I mean, especially, absolutely. I think that show has reached the goal. I mean, it absolutely If there's nothing else that I do in Sturgis in a year, it's to make sure that I get through that room to see what's going on and to see what people brought to the plate. Right.
It's no bullshit, man. It's just wow. Like you say, to get through the whole room and look at everybody's bike, it takes a day. It takes 2 days because they're amazing machines. And I just feel I pinch myself how the hell am I even in that mix? I'm just a school teacher,
Well, right on, man. Listen, tell everybody where they can keep track with all of the rest of the stuff you do, what you're doing with the kids, and tell everybody how to follow
Yeah.
Teach.
So we got a Lakeville North chopper class Instagram. It's LNHS chopper class. You just look that up. You'll find our chopper class. I got my kids running it now. So we're at that point now. Like even with you, Chris, man. I know we wrote for years, and I kind of dropped the ball on that. I got some really good kids now that run like the Instagram and the social media, and I'd love to have them work with you guys again instead of writing.
Oh, absolutely.
Sure.
Anytime you're ready, Kevin.
Yeah, it's just I mean, I got so many irons in the fire moving schools, and we hired a second teacher. So this is good news.
Wow.
So yeah. So I got hired by Lakeville North last year, first year there. And everything I did last year it made such an impact that we doubled enrollment. So we're hiring a new guy next year. I'll have 2 dudes with me. So that's awesome, and it's like things are going in the right direction. I'm so busy. I feel bad because I feel like I'm letting down all my old brothers and the people that I used to scooter tramp with because I just don't have time to do it anymore. But I still love y'all, and my heart's still there. I don't have the time to do it. I got 3 boys in sports, and my wife and I are busy just being good parents. And it's not that we left y'all and we don't care. We love y'all and we love it. We don't have time right now. But eventually, when our kids are out of the house, we're gonna get back to where you're gonna see me riding knuckles at a BMR again, and Amy's gonna be riding her knuckle right next to me right to the BMR. It's gonna be good times.
Right on.
Times are just crazy right now. Life evolves, and you gotta work with what you gotta do. And my goal has always been family first. Everything I did with motorcycles was to help myself be a good dad and a father and get my family to a good property. And it's worked, and it has. And I miss a lot of my brothers that I was partying with along the way. But I know we're gonna reconnect when things smooth out, and it's gonna be better than ever. Like Drake Specialties, man. I mean, I appreciate Drake Specialties. We built that bike for the old book,
Yeah, there was that flat gray panhead, wasn't it?
No, we did it was like a cobalt blue.
Oh, wait, that's right. Yeah.
Shovel.
Okay.
Yeah. Big old tall, it had like 16-inch apes on it. And
I know Tom Motzko loves what you do with stuff. So
yeah, he was great about that, man. Like, actually, we built that bike. That was the first time you guys had the old book come out. So we were the first cover bike for it. And Tom came out and we met. And man, he came and saw my class, and it was cool because, it was like there's another piece of history. Like, we knew that catalog was going worldwide, and to be able to open that cover and see like, hey, this was built by high school kids. And the pictures of my kids working on the bike, it was just, man, that just, makes the guy's soul smile, and absolutely. I appreciate all your support, everybody, man. I can't say enough about, I couldn't do what I'm doing without you guys giving a shit about it. Because if you didn't care about what I was doing, I'd still do it, and I wouldn't have many friends. But the fact is that you guys care, and you guys spread the word for me. Like, I wouldn't be on this show right now if you guys didn't care. You're having me on to tell this story, and that's what keeps it going. Every year, when somebody can give me a little exposure to talk about what I do with the kids, it keeps it alive. When this stops, it's going to die. That's all I got to say.
Well, that's one of the things about Tom. He's always looking for the innovators out there. And, I mean, I've heard your name for many, many years and knew I had never met you, and I still haven't in person, but I've known of your work, and I think that speaks volumes about what you're doing and how you're affecting this generation of the motorcycle industry. So thank you very much, and we couldn't be prouder to be partnered up with you on things.
Oh, well, thank you, man. And hey, keep me in the loop if you ever need another one built, man. My new class at Lakeville, we'd be more than happy to help you guys out and build something.
I'll let Tom know. Tom heads that up, and he's constantly on the lookout, so I'll make sure I'll let him know that the Teach is ready to go.
Yeah, brother. Thank you.
No
All
worries.
right, Teach, man. Listen, thank you so much for taking some time with us tonight, and I'll look forward to send us some progress pictures of how that thing's coming along. We'll pass them on.
Absolutely. And hey, Heather, Amy says hi. And,
Hi.
Hold on a second. Hi, Amy.
Hi,
Hey, Amy.
And Brutus and Max say hi to Nugget.
Oh, we have to get back up there. They have the most
Absolutely.
beautiful spot. Bass Acres is amazing.
Right on, man.
Love you guys. Thanks for having us on.
Okay,
Love
buddy.
you,
Later
Teach.
on.
Be good.
All right. I do.
One of the
guy, huh?
one of the best human beings in the world.
So
Really
good.
is. And his wife is honestly the soul of the earth.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
Like the metalcraft, the metalwork she does, and how she runs that Bass Metalcraft and Little Fish Designs, she's outstanding. And she, again, good human being, beautiful place. They have like chickens and ducks and geese, and they have like a peacock. They have a legit peacock. It is the coolest thing.
It's paradise.
I just want one of those feathers.
Oh, it's beautiful. I love their place.
So, hey, man, coming up next, we're going to reach out to our second guest, which is Luke Leatherman from Fueling. But before we do, we're going to take a short break and do some business for the show and check out some cool product from Dennis Kirk.
Hey, what's up, guys? Dylan here with Dennis Kirk, and on today's episode, we have some big news coming up. Have you ever wanted your bike on a web page or possibly featured in a magazine? Or just a chance to show off your stuff and along the way win some sick prizes? Well, Dennis Kirk is giving you your chance to achieve your dream. This is Garage Build. Garage Build is about showing off your stuff. We want you guys to post your photos, your videos, and your story and explain to us what it took to customize your ride. It's super easy. Just go to our website, garagebuild.com. This is where you'll be able to post, share, and vote on other rides. Now, while you're there, check out what others are doing with their rides and show off what you're doing with yours. The selected winners will then go on to be critiqued by our celebrity judges. The staff from Garage Build magazine will be the judges. They will pick the bikes they think are best in class. Now, everyone that posts a build on the website will receive a free Garage Build hat and a chance to win one of two $250 Dennis Kirk gift cards. So go all out. We want you guys to have fun, be creative, and remember, this is your chance. Your bike could be featured in Garage Build magazine. If you do not have a bike but still wish to participate, go to View the Builds. The proud owners of these great projects want you to let them know what you think. Rate and comment. That is your job. Influence the judges with your own opinion. Share the builds with your friends on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and other social media sites. Be sure to submit your email address to be entered to win the drawing for a $100 Dennis Kirk gift card. You will not have to submit a ride in order to win the $100 Dennis Kirk gift card drawing. Now just remember, this is your chance. So go above and beyond and get some awesome prizes. And you might just be the winner of a $250 Dennis Kirk gift card and see your bike featured from Garage Build magazine. Now the link to the website will be posted below in the description. I'm Dylan with Dennis Kirk. Thanks for watching. Good luck, and we'll see you guys next time.
Luke Leatherman, you're live on ShopTalk.
Oh.
We're almost live. Are you there?
No audio from Luke.
Oh, no. Has to be technical difficulty. 1 second. 1 second, we're dialing that in. We're good. We're good on this side. It's a mic setting. So tell me for a second while he's getting his mic hooked up.
All right.
How long have you known Luke?
I've known Luke, oh man, it's got to be 15 or 20 years. And, you know, just through the drag specialties thing, you know, you start seeing this guy showing up at different events. And regardless of what the event was, he was always digging something out of his bag to show you the next brand new thing that Fueling had coming out. And, you know, so many things that he's been involved with as long as I've known him. He's truly an innovator, and right now with the M8 being the motor of choice for the V-twin world, he's addressed a number of the issues that have come up with it and come up with solutions and performance and horsepower, and he's just doing a lot of good things. I can't wait to get him on the show and find out what he has up his sleeve, because, you know, he invented something that took care of the foaming issue in the M8 with just changing the basically the dipstick in it. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that he's addressed, and many, many more. So let's see if we can't get him on to hear it straight from the horse's mouth. He's scared me. Got a tank behind him, like he got incoming, you know.
We're working on
guys waging war on everybody that's not down with the Fueling. So, you know.
So while Luke is getting that microphone, are we there?
I think so. Say something, Luke. That's not it. But he does look sweet. I can't wait to get him on here because he looks awesome.
So let's take a look at social media for a minute until we get that mic up. Cheryl O'Brien, those first big mountain runs where the local kids gather around the teach and a handful of builders, telling the kids to follow their dreams. Great memories. First big mountain runs were sick off the hook. It was like the best memories that I have from all of the time of the magazine. That was the absolute shit. So anybody that got to do that, since we've decided to move locations again, there's a slight chance that we might be back in the Smoky Mountains. We'll see how that goes.
Excuse me.
So let's try this.
Should we switch to a call-in?
Well, I can do call with his picture. How about that?
Well, there we go.
Let me try that. Let's see. I can do this. I can multitask.
You are very talented. It's like he's juggling and doing a Rubik's Cube at the same time.
He thrives on that.
Oh, he does. Oh, he does.
When you click the little.
They're calling me right now.
Oh,
Now we hear him.
I just heard him.
Hey, you there, man?
Am I live or I don't know? I'm on the phone.
Yeah, you're live. I think now we're hearing you in both. Or do you have your computer on with the show?
Yeah, I got the computer on with the show, or my phone's on. You guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Now we can.
Yeah, I guess I'm here. I can't hear you guys.
There you go.
He can't hear us, unfortunately.
No.
We're saying awesome things. You ought to hear what we're saying. It's absolutely amazing.
Well, listen, keep the computer on, but turn the audio of the computer off, and we'll just do the phone thing.
This is Luke. Please leave a message.
Yo.
Okay, let's do the audio just through the phone. So if you can turn the audio of the computer off, we'll be good.
All right, can you hear me through the phone only?
Yes, sir. You're good. You're on.
Okay.
Sorry about that, buddy. I don't know what's going on there.
Well, technical difficulties over here.
Right?
Opportunities for solutions. That's all it is. We're sitting here looking at your backdrop. You're storming the beaches down there. You're ready to go. I was so excited when you agreed to do this, folks. Like, you know, Chris and I often talk about being friends, and Luke and I go back a long times, and you're always trying to find a way to get Luke included, because when you do, you have a much better time when he's there. So thanks for joining us there, and I know that you've been around the scene for quite a while, and Chris was like, you know, we were going to kick it off. We were going W3. We're going back into the beginning. Tell us the Luke Leatherman story. How do you get such a cool name? How did that happen, first of all? Did you change it in like second grade or something, you know?
I don't know. I know I had coaches when I was in like Little League and football and stuff, and they used to, you know, the adventures of Leatherman.
Right on.
I can't wait to introduce him somewhere. The Adventures of Leatherman. He's a new Marvel superhero.
Dude, that is, listen, like
the end game, you know. I'm not going to tell you the finishing, but he might be a new guy in it.
Like Rob said earlier, he said, "Man, you gotta be tough. You gotta be tough to have a name like that, because you know you're either gonna walk it and talk it, or you're gonna have to fight a lot."
Luke's Twisted Steel and Sex Appeal. He could run that name.
Yes, I do know we go back with Cycle Source, you know, sometime. I know we got hooked up kind of in the beginning of time there.
Absolutely.
I know we helped out with a couple of engine builds early on, and I know you guys have represented us since, and you know, things are good.
No, man, it's been awesome for us. Having partners like Fueling is amazing, because when you're dealing with things, and you know, as a mechanic, is just a wrench, you try to learn things as fast as you can, but these guys zero in on it like with lasers, man, and they know right off the bat. Like, I know already you guys are dogging it for M8 stuff. You're gonna have that thing mapped out and know exactly what needs done, where the strong points are, the weak points. You're gonna know what's up. So having the ability to turn to somebody with knowledge like that is completely invaluable in our position.
Well, one thing nice as far as the Milwaukee 8 goes with Harley, it kind of fell into our wheelhouse. 4-valve heads, you know, kind of runs pretty deep with the Fueling name. There was a lot of work done with General Motors early on in the 4-valve stuff. And some guys out there may recall a 4-valve Evo cylinder head. And you got a single cam with 4-valve heads, push rod engine. And, fortunately, we know the quirks with that engine and, the issues associated with the rocker arm and the lifters and so forth. So it kind of fell into our wheelhouse. And, we were able to capitalize on that, I think early on and come up with some pretty good products.
Right on.
We've been talking about some of the products that, that Fueling has for the M8, but we have to go back to the beginning and talk about one of the most impressive feats of mechanical ingenuity I ever seen when you guys debuted the W3. I see you guys still have one on your catalog for a mere $250,000. Do you have financing for that?
Yeah, it's funny. Dead president. Come on, Rob.
But tell us the story about that. Where do you go, hey, we'd like to make some power. Let's just add another whole cylinder to it.
Well, the story goes back, Jim Fueling, that's where the name comes from. He had Ford Motor Company in the building, and Fueling was responsible for the modular aspect of the Ford engines, the 4-cylinder, the 6-cylinder, the 8-cylinder, the 10-cylinder, where, the components for the most part, were all interchangeable, like the valves and the connecting rods, stuff like that. And in the building at the same time was Harley Davidson. They actually came to Jim to work on the twin cam engine. The chief of engineering at the time was familiar with Jim because they worked together with some General Motor products or projects years ago or previously, and Jim fixed some of the issues with the twin cam engine, and that led to quite a few different engine programs. And one of which was a 3-valve cylinder head, which we're really surprised that Harley came out with this 4-valve because we felt the 3-valve was much more efficient and easier and so forth. But so the kind of the concept came from modularity. It was, instead of having to beat the heck out of these engines to get the cubic inch and lose your reliability, you got to add 50% more cubic inch and, you kept the engine fairly tame.
I remember it was like 175 foot-pounds of torque, like 150 horsepower. Those are nice numbers for anything, let alone something developed as long ago as that was. And then when you guys move on, what was the next big thing? Was it always the cams and things like that you were kind of known for?
Well, the kind of the beginning of it, as far as the fueling parts side of the business, was the oil pump. In fact, when we did that W3 engine, we knew the factory twin cam oil pump from Harley was, I would say mediocre at best for the twin cam, and we knew it wouldn't work in the W3, so we made an oil pump, and we decided, hey, if we're going to make this oil pump, let's make it retrofittable. And one thing that's kind of interesting too is before Jim passed, had a conversation and he brought up how kind of crazy that you can design a whole engine and the only thing that comes out of it is an oil pump, and that's virtually the only thing that really came out of that engine was the oil pump.
Jesus.
But kind of neat stuff. Led into camshafts and push rods and valve springs and kind of the whole nine that go along with it. But
I almost want to say, though, like just with my experience at twin cams through the years, it might have been worth getting that oil pump out of that project just for everything that, I mean, the things that solved through the twin cam years, it might have been worth that whole project.
I think absolutely, because, that they definitely, led on with some oil pump issues and, to lead into this new engine, we're kind of fortunate that, they left an opening for us again. The first Milwaukee 8 we took apart, I was actually floored at the size of the oil pump and, honestly was thinking we were going out of business as far as oil pumps go. I think to this date, I think they're on rev number 8 of oil pumps. So, God bless them. And, we definitely appreciate it. I'm glad we could, fill in some shoes there.
Right on.
When you look at, some of the things that you have opportunities to enhance and to go, I know that you're also somebody that is very hands-on with not only the company, but the motorcycle industry as a whole. And, there's a lot of talk right now. Harley isn't exactly having the biggest banner year ever. Indian's coming on pretty strong, but basically they had from, short as maybe 5 or 6 years ago, 0 back up to their claim and percentage. What do you see going on right now? What are some of the opportunities right now that you see for people to maybe it's the upgrades of their bikes or styles of bikes. What's kind of coming down the pike?
Well, really, what we've been focusing on, this kind of goes back here for a couple of years now, is we're really focused on the riders out there. We're looking for, the customer that wants to, jump on his bike and ride to Sturgis, or maybe he's going down to Florida or what have you, somebody that's riding every weekend. Our products really focus on the person that wants to ride their motorcycle. And that's kind of what we focus on, is reliability and longevity out of the engine. And we want to give you as much performance as we can while still keeping that engine reliable. That's kind of the key that we've got. Our camshaft grinds that we've come out with, we really focus on the width of the power band. And so there's some other brands out there that are going to give you some better peak power numbers and give you a nice looking dyno graph when you're at the bar. But majority of our stuff, stoplight to stoplight, fuel mileage, the ease to tune, and the rideability, we've got you covered there. And, I'm definitely proud of the product line that we've put together.
And you make everything in-house.
We do not make everything in-house. We do the design work in-house, but we do proudly make everything in the United States. Some of the, the machine stuff, there's definitely, specialty places in the United States that can do that, which allows us to be, pretty diversified when it comes to the product line.
Here's a conversation that, when we knew you were coming on, I wanted to have with you tonight, is for our money, from the whole custom side of things, the whole way up through, like, we keep tabs on everything that's new too. But for us, we're starting to see this trend that it's quite possible that those early Evos and like the Softail model especially is kind of moving into a place where it's becoming the shovel head, where like you can grab that thing up for $2,500. A lot of times you're getting some trick parts on it already. At the same time that you guys are involved with so much development for the new stuff, is there anything inside of a performance company that's looking back at that stuff and seeing a trend develop that the garage guy is going to also have the benefit of your abilities to redesign and go after that market as well?
Absolutely. And it's interesting that you make that point. The Evo just made the Drag Old book here last year, right? So kind of live book. Our number 2 selling product is our Evo lifters. So I know there's a lot of Evos out there being, remanufactured, rebuilt, what have you. So, and we recently came out with a camshaft lineup for the Evos. We hesitated for many, many years just because there were so many brands out there, making camshafts for them. And we said, hey, we've kind of got a name. Our twin cam stuff is doing quite well. Let's release the Evo camshafts, and we've got a little hold on the market with what we're doing for the Evolution. We've got some valve train components, the lifters, the camshafts, valve springs, and so forth. And yeah, absolutely, that's a good part of the business.
Right on.
I've got to think there was probably close to 1 million Evos built from their time, and they were the motor, I think, that really saved the motor company. I mean, that motor came out, it was bulletproof, it didn't miss, it didn't leak, it didn't do much.
I don't know, you might be a little biased though, Rob.
Well, because I have a garage full of them. Yeah, I'm just trying to get the price back up on the things. Chris is telling me they were $2,500 now. I'm crying.
Well, you can get them for $2,500.
I know, not mine.
This is the best. This is the best thing about that, right? It reinvigorates the core again. Like if you have a guy that's maybe wanting to start doing stuff with his son, and he can go buy a $2,500 early Evo or early Softail and do something with that. That's how we build the bridge to that next generation.
Hey, I was in a dealership this week, and this dealership actually may just hold on to it. Guy traded in an 87 Softail Custom with 247,000 miles on it. Nice. And the thing is in incredibly good condition. He rode it, but he obviously maintained it and, kept a coat of wax on the tins and, cleaned it up when he could. Unbelievable bike, 247,000 miles. It must be dripping with fueling products on the inside. Must be.
Well, and my favorite thing all the time, was, coming up from... You guys probably know the name Jim Libonetti, and me and Jim together built one of the sickest shovel heads there ever was. I mean, it had 0 degree clearance. It had a totally radical, ridiculous cam. It had a quench port built into the heads, totally exotic port in the heads, and it was disgusting fast. But I put a $50 bill every time I went somewhere on that bike. I put $50 away because I knew I was going to blow it up. When the Evo came along, what we did with a pocket port, a mild cam comparatively and a good breathing exhaust. And it still had the rideability and reliability far surpassed what we did with that shovel head, and it almost equaled in performance. They were just incredible motor.
I actually think the Evo is the last bike that ever enjoyed the drag pipe.
Yeah.
I don't think twin cams made it to the drag pipe. No, I know the M8s aren't there, but Evos with the drag pipe, one of the most legend. Only an Ironhead Sportster is louder than one of those, I think.
So we shouldn't do all the talking here, Luke.
Luke's getting ready to ride to Sturgis this year. You taking an Evo out there this year?
No, I do have one of these Evo 4 belts sitting in the back, but I'm sure I'm going to go on one of the Milwaukee 8s because I'm sure we've got some products to test. But yeah, no, there's nothing like the sound of, the Evos. And, I happen to, be fairly fond of the Fueling 4 valve heads on it too, but.
You know what else Luke has done? He's a mentor, if you will, and he's taken Lance Curry under his wing, a 12-time X Games medalist, and you work a lot with him on helping him develop his brand. I believe Thrashing, right?
Yeah, Thrash and Supply. Lance and I hooked up a few years back, and he was helping us with some of our social media and some of our travel, and I don't know, we've kind of hooked up, became good friends, and he started Thrashing, and then he brought me in as a partner, and we've created a relationship with Drag Specialties, and I think we've got a pretty good thing going. Really focused again on pieces and parts for the riders. So
see that both of our guests tonight help mold some of the younger generation. Come on, we had Teach doing it with his class, right, and now Luke doing it. See, these guys are giving; they're giving back, and Luke's not even that old. I mean, neither's Teach. They're young guys.
Yeah, and that's
salt of the earth, these guys.
That's what it's going to take right now, though. I was on Charlie Brechtel's program this morning out in California, and we had a great big part of our conversation was about that relationship and mentoring. That's really what it's going to take. We're going to have to do this. It's not going to be like you just come up with a solution and all the millennials go, oh my God, I have to have a bike. It's going to be one rider at a time, man, just like it always was.
Absolutely. And, I think we need, definitely more involvement. And I know there's some companies out there in the industry that are doing things to get some kids on bicycles. And I think there's some pretty neat things going on with the Stasic electric dirt bikes that Harley Davidson just picked up. I think there's, mad craze to get some of these kids involved.
What's your take? Obviously, you're purely mechanical and a lot of your applications, whether you're looking at the new Softail or an old FXR or whatever, but the electric bikes, where do you see fueling addressing things with them? Obviously, there's a lot of componentry still with the bike. It's just the power plant's pretty unique.
Well, yeah, as far as being able to cross over the internal combustion engine, yeah, we're kind of at a loss there. But we've been fairly involved with some electric stuff. In fact, we built a single-seat all-electric airplane here a couple years ago and competing in a NASA competition. We made a 19 horsepower airplane that would go over 150 miles an hour, single seater. But yeah, I'm definitely involved with the electrical components, and I'm a fan of it. I think the motorcycles are really neat. I think close range to and from a job, things like that. I think it's a great motorcycle. However, you're not going to jump on one and head to Sturgis anytime soon, but they're pretty bitchin'. The torque power that you get out of them is very impressive.
Damn it, Luke, I was looking for somebody to be on my side. I thought for sure the Motorhead guy would back me up.
He's a visionary, I guess the next question then is, we obviously talked about that, but Harley, kind of which is really a big move from them about, 9 or 10 months ago, they released photos of all their new upcoming bikes, a Street Fighter, a liquid-cooled Street Fighter, an adventure bike. These were just some of the bikes. Luke, have you had a chance to see that new inline twin electric or liquid-cooled motor yet from Harley? I know that it was just in photos. And what was it, like a 950 displacement type thing or something?
Yeah, I've only been privy to some of the photos, but, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Once again, I think it makes sense for somebody running around local, and I think could be a lot of fun. But some long distance riding, it's not there yet.
Dude, I'd totally be down for that Street Fighter.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. Yeah,
I'm always excited about the Pan American or whatever. I'll take it in the dirt, see what it'll do. But we'll see when they come out. Heck, they released a bunch of pictures, and they even had the little kind of flat track looking thing in there too. But they haven't really made much mention on that either. But I know that Luke works closely with a lot of the. Is there any other manufacturers? Do you do much on the Indian side?
We don't do a whole lot there. I mean, we've been involved, playing around with some camshafts and, some tuning on some of those bikes. But, I don't know, we kind of bring back, the red pill versus the blue pill. And that comes into play with some of that stuff. But
right.
They're very impressive. The 4-valve, once again, that 4-valve stuff. And, even kind of bring it back here to the Milwaukee 8. And I think one thing that we're finding the customers with the Milwaukee 8 are a little confused on is the main purpose of the 4-valve is, the flow that it gets early on and the torque that it can produce at the low RPMs. It's not a high RPM engine because the rocker arms and the valve train can't handle the RPM, but the 4-valve is excellent at, bottom end torque, grunt and pull. And, they're very impressive in that area. And that's just one thing to note with the guys with the Milwaukee 8 is they're not jumping into something that's, a high RPM engine.
I was super impressed on the model launch with that thing was the fact that there was no real dead spot in the power delivery. And I mean, coming from a factory bike, that's something. I didn't find myself shifting as much. I didn't find, the transition. Like I can remember coming from my Evo and getting on my first twin cams, and it was like night and day. You had to ride that bike completely different. And I think my first impressions with the Milwaukee 8 was just that it was so much more user friendly.
And you're talking some, baby camshafts in there. And I know you just mentioned a little bit ago about the gains that you would get out of the Evolution engine with, a cam and a pipe and an air cleaner. And we're, to a certain degree, we're right back there with this Milwaukee 8 because they're very limited with the little camshaft that's in them from the factory. So a good camshaft and, exhaust pipe and an air cleaner goes a very long way as far as the percentage output that you get out of these things now.
So let's talk drag racing for a minute. We've been helping out with the AMRA and getting them some exposure through social media and media with the magazine and stuff. What do you know? Are you hearing anything from guys that are starting to get fired up about drag racing again on the street level?
Yeah, we're hearing quite a bit of that, and we've been involved with some pretty cool projects. Some guys, once again, are excited about this Milwaukee 8, and I think there's just a big buzz around it because of it's a new engine, and I think early on some of the drag race guys caught on to us because we were so familiar with the 4-valve head program, and that's one thing that Jim really did help a lot of guys out years back with the Evo 4-valve heads and the the top fuel and the drag racing aspect of it. So yeah, I think there's going to be some more interest out there. I think it'd be nice to see some more publicity on the drag racing side because I feel like it is kind of a dying industry out there, if you will. So, it'd be nice to see a little bit more publicity and some more, press coverage and so forth with it.
Oh, we're gonna do our best to try to keep that going, man, because that's, I was telling Rob at the beginning of the show before we got on, the street level and, the fact that guys can show up with just a hot street bike and do passes. And, I'd almost forgotten how much I enjoyed all that stuff until we started going to Burt Baker's thing in Sturgis that he does just the, everybody come and run what you brung. And I had so much fun there that like when it led to the opportunity of showing other people that, hey, there's a track down the street, you can get down there, put a couple bucks down and start doing some passes and see what it really does.
Yeah, and that's what it's about. That's that's why a lot of us are in this industry, and or involved with the motorcycles, and I think that's a huge part.
What was your path to get here? Was your family big motorcycle people, or was it a neighbor down the street? What kind of got you ignited early on?
I grew up in the automotive industry and ended up getting the opportunity through some schooling. Met up with Jim Fueling and. He took me under his wing for a little bit, but, I definitely had an interest in the internal combustion engine, early on, more on the automotive side of things, involved with some motorcycle stuff, but, involved pretty heavily in some automotive engine builds. And then, fueling was really all about, all the internal combustion engine, no matter if it was on 2 wheels, 4 wheels, or what have you. And, I was fortunate that he was able to take, me under his wing for a little spell there, and, learned a lot. And one of the really cool things that, Jim kind of stood for was, you don't know what it's going to do until you run it. And it could be, a crazy idea, but in all reality, that is the truth, is you don't know what any of this stuff's going to do until you actually run it and, see for yourself.
And that's one of the things I always loved about this company too, especially like through the mid 90s, late 90s, we got to a place where, the one thing about a dyno run is like, whatever you say that it's, barstool bullshit or whatever, the one thing that you can't lie about on a dyno run is that at 52, that's where the horsepower and torque are going to cross. And for a while we got to a place where the marketing of some companies and the performance and the engineering forgot to talk to each other, and you could see these charts that they were making up where that didn't happen anymore. And it's physically impossible for that not to happen. So we got to a place in motorcycling for a while where like there was so many outrageous marketing claims where at one point we were going to take, every coil, spark plug wire, spark plug, air cleaner, pipe that we could that was giving you, 30% more horsepower, 25% more horsepower. And we were going to put it all on the same bike and see if we actually got 265% more horsepower, but like he said, these guys, they put it. It's when the rubber meets the street, man. I mean, they're making products and they're taking out. You don't know what it's going to do until you run it. That's
we were down in Daytona with these guys, and you and I. That was the last time we were on. It was right after Daytona, and Luke has his crew down there, and they had their cam plates and their cams, and all of a sudden they come walking around the corner with this anti-foaming. It replaces the dipstick. Is that right, Luke?
Yes, yeah.
To some level, I mean, you're way, but it's a breather, right?
Yeah, it's like a PCV valve, if you will. I don't know how technical you want to get, but the Milwaukee 8, what we found, and really to relate to some of the sumping issues that they're having, is the cavities on the inside of the engine and the oil tank are, I'm going to say, marginal at best for a stock 107. You start doing the stroker engine 114, 124s, big bore kits. You automatically have more, leak down and blow by. And, now that these are sealed engines, there's nowhere for it to go. So what we did is we came up with the, pretty simple solution where we made a vented or breather dipstick, if you will. So it's got a little flapper valve in it and, basically acts as a PCV valve to the system.
Right on.
And all of a sudden, all that performance that you've added to your bike isn't lost in the oil foaming, right?
Well, they've got a sumping issue, and that added pressure can cause, cavitation in the oiling system, and that makes the oil pump have to work harder, and, it just creates issues. And, not just like thinking about the Milwaukee 8, or if you're talking, a Chevrolet, or, you name the engine. And, one thing that we're really big on over here is you got to look at it as a system, a balanced system, if you will. So there's no magic component that makes these things, scream, if you will. It takes, thought out, camshaft. You want the oiling system, you good exhaust pipe, my boy Daryl Bassani, you know what I mean? You got to throw him in there. Good air cleaner. I mean, it takes a good package, you know what I mean? And there's a lot to it. It's not just throwing parts at these things and, magically you have this, giant dyno graph to show all your boys,
Absolutely. Well, listen, man, where can people find out more about fueling parts, other than the fact that we would definitely like to get some more of this into the tech pages of the magazine? So any of your projects that you're down with, I got open pages. We're be happy to work with you to get that stuff out to more of our readers. But where can people keep their thumb on the pulse of fueling?
Hey, check out the website, fuelingparts.com, Instagram, Facebook, check us out, give us a shout. You got questions as far as any engine build when it comes to these things, give us a holler and we can give you, our 2 cents. And, once again, we really focus on, packages that are for the rider. And Rob, we expect you to be riding out there, right?
Oh, absolutely. I'm fueling equipped and proud of it. I run both my my Derby cover and my points cover to let them know that the fueling army is coming down the road. That's what I do.
Right on.
That's what I see. I had to get my street cred up with my fueling package on my bike. I could almost walk in now and just let everybody know, I'm down with the fueling army. You see the tank back there. You don't want to scrap with that thing. Look at that thing coming at you.
Hey, that's right.
Can you imagine this? A guy named Jim Fueling, another cool name, Luke Leatherman. Yeah. I can never work for Fueling. I'm lucky I just get to ride their stuff.
There's that kind of a story about the tanks because Jim Fueling's when the operation was in Ventura, California, he had 2 of these tanks on the property, and he had one on each side of the building, and it's interesting because people were always looking.
Is there any chance we'll see the W3 reemerge in some modern day build?
I'm thinking so.
What?
I don't know. We've got.
You see most come out of my chair. Heather's got scared there for a minute, I think.
We're thinking fuel injected, maybe a road glide, maybe something like that.
No kidding.
Oh, that's
check out the social media for updates. But I think we got a blank canvas sitting in the back shop, and everybody's got throw their 2 cents in.
So listen, this is the deal on that. When this comes together, Rob has to ride it and write for it for our magazine.
Oh, I'll be the road test pilot.
We got to do that.
I'll be like the knee dragger bagger out there. I'll be coming hot in the corners, backing it in, drifting.
That's what's up.
Putting all 175 foot-pounds of torque to work. You know how I do.
That's right. I love it.
Well, cool, man. Listen, thanks for being on with us tonight. I appreciate it. I appreciate you taking the time and for all the support. And please reach out to us and let us know what we can do for you guys in the future.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Luke.
That is a trip, dude. Can you imagine fuel injected W3?
So
that's going to be fun. It's going to be a good time. Hopefully we get to ride the thing at Sturgis or something. Imagine us out there. Me and you are both riding 2 up, right downtown, out through Vonnegut Canyon, Spearfish, bending it in the corners. Me and you, side by each.
Yep. What do you got, Blondie?
I was just going to say, for those people that want to follow Fueling, I did post his website in the comments. I posted a link to his Instagram page, and I actually threw a link into his partner company, Thrash and Supply. If anybody wants to check those out, those are all in the comments. And everybody is here tonight.
Man, are you efficient?
I know.
I try.
Right?
You are.
She's way better than me. I tell people that all the time. It's no joke. There's no shame in my game. She gets shit done.
I try.
I try. So listen, before we go to our next guest, I do want to go back to the news just for a second, because this is an interesting piece, and we talked about this early on tonight. Was Forbes magazine brings in the report that American Flat Track sees substantial growth poised for breakout. Now, for me, the really interesting thing about this is the fact that this has been maybe the 3rd report that I've seen about the growth of Flat Track from the financial sector. Which this news coming from the financial sector, they're talking about the business of. And I wanted to take this opportunity, especially with Rob here tonight, because of, how deep drag and parts goes and all of this stuff. There's still only 8 guys in this series that get actually paid to do this. So the growth, now you're starting to see as you go
what
through
you mean
this,
by that probably are the factory guys from Harley, factory guys from Indian, and now Yamaha's thrown their hat into the ring, and then you've got the Kawasaki guys out there as well. So unique. That's a pretty eclectic group of manufacturers to be chasing this V-twin kind of derived thing. And then they had a brand new kind of TT just a week ago, 2 jumps, big off-road track. So that not only is the thing catching fire with companies, but the fan base is getting to watch it morph before their eyes into modern day flat tracking. And
I love that part of it. I really do. It was always we were always down for the Peoria TT because that was something different, and as much as I love the big wide open miles, I think that is adding a lot of spice to this for the fans, for the Saturday guy that's just going out, but I just wonder, so many people are pushing the growth.
Well, think about all the non-traditional eyes that get laid on TT flat track racing at the Buffalo Chip.
Oh, absolutely.
There's so many men and women that ride motorcycles, but they don't attend very many races. And a perfect example of that was the Indianapolis Moto GP. Downtown Indianapolis would block the street off for bike night before the Moto GP. There'd be 100,000 bikes there. And none of those people came to the race. They thought that it was the show-off part, not the competition part. So, we're glad to have people coming out to the races to watch it in person. And then, to me, that's what always got the racing vibe going. When you start to smell race gas, when you really hear these things come by, when you see the dirt flying off the back wheel that maybe the television camera doesn't quite capture, that's what gets you, man, I want to do that. I want to go try that. I want to be part of that action.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. And I think it's, for anything in motorcycling to be showing the kind of performance that this has, it's fantastic. It really is. It's...
Thank God it's Forbes magazine, too.
Right?
I did post a link to that if anybody wants to read the full article.
Yeah, we do that stuff a lot where I just get off on a tangent and start talking about stuff and forget that other people might want to check it out. So, hey, we are rolling past the half-hour point. We're a little bit late for our next guest, so without further ado, I'm going to do my best to bring him up. But this guest is also coming in through your introduction. So tell me about Chance Darling.
Well, Chance, as far as I know, originated back here in Ohio, and like I said, he's made the move through the motorcycle industry, a couple different companies, and he's been with the Barnett crew for a long time, and they continue. You mentioned it earlier, 1948?
Right.
They came on board, and for 1948 to modern day, and continue to evolve and be such an important necessity in the performance game. And, Chance and his crew are always evolving the clutch game in the V-twin world.
All right, let's give us a shot, man. Chance, what's up? You're live with ShopTalk.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Good. Awesome, he's here.
I'm here.
Jennifer's gonna be very happy with me right now.
Yeah, it took Jennifer a little bit of back and forth with Chris on the phone, and she's the computer girl, not me.
Oh yeah. Now, I was telling these guys early on, you and I have known each other since back trail riding with Phil Andrews and the guys, and at that point, you were chasing, was it the Camel Bucks back then with the flat track series? Was it the Camel flat track?
Yeah, the Camel series and the Camel challenges for the top 6 qualifiers and all that. So yeah, it was quite a few years ago.
Tell us about that. I mean, I know a lot of kids that get in the motocross because whether the kid down the street, but how do you choose flat track back in that era? That's the way you're going to go.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know. I mean, my dad never raced motorcycles or anything. It was just kind of somehow I got started there. I raced a little bit of motocross and did some drag racing with my little Indian 50 and stuff, and I just started flat tracking. I mean, I started riding a motorcycle when I was 3 years old, started racing when I was 5, and by the time I was 7 years old, I was a Grand National champion already. So.
Jesus.
And how long did you chase it? Because the great thing about flat track racing is, you see the guy. Heck, Jeff Ward right now at 58 years old isn't quite having the type of year that I thought he was going to have. He's doing a very trimmed down series, only the TT, gets to Daytona, doesn't make the main, goes to this one. Now this week, you and I talked briefly off the air. You were kind of pumped about the track with the 2 jumps and the big truck. You loved it.
I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, it was something different. I mean, I would have loved racing on something like that. I mean, it was more of like a rolling TT or something. So it was just, I liked it. I thought it was really neat. I mean, I only watched it on my iPad online, but other than that, I mean, I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool.
Now, back when you were doing it, if you weren't on an XR750, you were probably battling uphill a little bit, huh?
Yeah, I was at the XR750.
I mean, the Hondas came out when you were out there, right?
Yeah, the Hondas came out when I was, I think I was a junior, and then I turned rookie. And you still, there were still quite a few Harleys. I mean, it's not like now where when Indian came out with the flat track bike, how they just kind of just took over the whole scene. I mean, Honda, they had 3 or 4 guys out there, and there weren't so many bikes like the Indians are nowadays, though.
Yeah, they certainly have made a big dent in the lineup right now when you look at these guys. I mean, there's a lot of maroon out there on the track, but they're doing it. They've got the most competitive package, and if you're going to be a guy trying to, Chris was just talking, and I know even in your era, it was the Springsteens and Parkers and guys, those guys made a lot of the money, and then the trickle down after that, it started getting thin quick.
Yeah. There weren't very many people making much money back then.
So you moved from racer, then where do you go?
Well, I was still racing, and then I was working. I was racing for Corbin, and he heard I was thinking about quitting racing. So he offered me a job to move out to California. So I did that and went out there and worked there for a while, and did some other things, and then decided it was kind of time for a change there, and I moved on from there, and now I'm over here at Barnett.
And at Barnett, they've been there since 1948, so that had to be.
Yeah.
Have you heard any of the first stories, like what kind of got the whole thing going?
Yeah, it was Colleen Taylor. Her dad started the company, and it was just him in his garage working on his own personal motorcycle. I think it was like an old AJS, and he would break his clutch cable or whatever. So he made cables, and then his buddies would break a cable, and they would need a cable, and then it just kind of went from there. And I mean, that was in 1948 when he started that. And then in the mid 50s, he decided that's when they started making the clutch plates too. So it just kind of evolved from there.
So you took a wear item, they made it better, and next thing you know, the company's around 70 years.
Yep, 71 years.
That's unbelievable. That's awesome, though, when you think about a company that's been around that long.
Listen, after having a company for 23 years, I can pretty much tell you that there's a lot of story in the middle of that. There's a lot of story in 70 years, boy.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot there. I mean, Charlie and his wife Afton, I mean, they pretty much they started the company, and they pretty much ran it all those years. And then Mike Taylor, he actually started in 1968, I believe it was, and him and Colleen had gotten married. And then from there, he kind of went all around the shop and did different odds and ends and doing whatever needed to be done, picking up parts or working late on the machines or whatever. And then in the mid-70s, Charlie had a stroke, and so he pretty much couldn't do anything. So Mike and Colleen, they pretty much took over the business in the mid-70s, and they're still here. I mean, they're here every day. I mean, they come in, and Mike answers all the tech calls, and Colleen takes sales and talking to people on the phones. I mean, they're here all the time still.
So if you call Barnett and you have a question, you're going to talk probably to Mike Taylor about it. And how much better of an answer can you get than from him?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because a lot of the old bikes, I mean, I don't really know about, so I just always send them all over to Mike, and he knows them. He's got all the answers. He's the go-to guy for sure.
Well, you were saying you have a Barnett clutch on what bike, Chris?
On my 49 Panhead. And I'm going to tell you something right now, and I don't care how many of my traditional guys bitch at me for this. I would not ride that motorcycle. It's a foot clutch jockey shift 49 Panhead with a long ass Paco Springer on the front of it. I've ridden that thing in Brooklyn, in downtown New York, and I don't have a second thought about it because of that Barnett Scorpion clutch, man. It's off the hook. Changed that whole ride. Changed the whole ride of that bike.
We've sold more of those shovelhead Scorpions clutches this year than we have in the past several years. It's like people are pulling the old bikes out of the woodwork and just getting them going again. And everybody knows you put the Scorpion clutch in those things, it gets rid of the walk. You could stop at a stoplight and sit there with the bike in gear. It's not going to pull you through the intersection, nothing like that. Then when you want to put it in gear, you pull the clutch lever in, pop it in gear, and take off.
Well, dude, especially for a foot clutch jockey, like that thing's like butter. Like, I don't ever have to worry about I think the clutch is better than the transmission.
It's so funny now. We see. We were talking a little bit earlier with Luke Leatherman on here in the performance genre that's starting to creep back into the V-twin world. It sort of went away a little bit when guys were going to the bigger baggers. They spent more money on stereos than they did on making their bikes go fast. But now the guys are back to making the bikes go fast again. And I'm telling you, if the brakes, the clutch, and the suspension aren't up to thing, you've just wasted a ton of money on your motor because you're not going to make it work. You've got to clutch it. You've got to put some brakes on it so you can ride it hard and put some suspension. But the clutch is critical to getting that power to the back wheel. And Barnett's make sure it's a seamless transition. You install it and it's done. You're fixed.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we try to do the best we can. I mean, we try to work with all the new models that are coming out. I mean, with all the new M8s and everything, and I mean, guys want lockup clutches or they want the standard Scorpions. I mean, a lot of people, they'll put our lockup clutches if it's like an older guy or a lady and she wants an easier lever to pull, because with the lockup you can run a lighter spring, so the lever is easier, and then so that way when they're sitting at a stoplight they can pull the clutch lever in and not have to use two hands or worry about the clutch lever slipping out of their hand and going into an intersection or something. So it's actually safer.
You know what's really funny, Chris, and everyone listening, is both of the guests that we've had on tonight, well, we've had 3, but both of make jewelry. But it all goes inside your motor, the clutch, the cam chest, everything. It's like jewelry. It's like, and they hide it. You guys have addressed that though, and you guys actually have a clear clutch cover, so you can see this beast hiding behind the derby cover.
Yeah, I mean, our clutches aren't cheap, but they work, and all these guys spend this money, and they want to be able to see what they have. I mean, when you're sitting on the bike, you can't see it, but your buddy next to you can see it, and kind of neat when everything's running and spinning. It looks like kind of like a car wash in your primary cover, but as soon as the bike shuts off and you got a clear window, you can see that bright and that nice orange Scorpion clutch in there, and you can tell everybody, yeah, that's it, that's what I got. You can see it.
Hey, I have a question in from social media. Michael O'Leary is asking. He says, I have a Pro clutch from Rivera Primo. Do you make replacement clutches? Can't get a clutch pack. Is Rivera Primo out of business?
Yeah, we've got the steel and friction plate kits for those. And for all the different Primos that are out there.
There you go.
So, yeah.
The link to their website is in the comment section for Barnett clutches, so you can just scroll up and click on that and find it.
So
yeah, I mean, we on our website we've got like a section there where it's kind of like your make and model, so it's pretty easy to use, and you can just kind of click on your bike and what you're looking for, and pull up all the different part numbers right there.
So here's a story for you real quick. This is going to be a product testimonial. Darren McKeag is in on social media. He reminds me, the cops in Vegas thought the ticket, which is the 49 pan I was talking about, was real hot. I got the longest, most expensive ticket in my life on that panhead riding through downtown Vegas because the motorcycle cop couldn't keep up with me on that bike. I'm pretty sure it was the smooth shifting had me get away with myself. So I'm blaming that shit on you.
That's all right. I'll take the blame for that one.
Not the ticket or the points, but he will take the blame.
No, I don't need any help there.
Yes, sir.
Now, you guys, and we talk to people about the show circuit. You have your Daytonas, you have your Sturgis. Where are the places that if somebody wanted to come up and see the Barnett display, talk to your I mean, last year we were in Sturgis and we came down with one of the old book bikes. Alex Fox from Drag Specialty took his dad's bike, Stan Fox, who was a great IndyCar driver and stuff, brought it out there. One of the first places we stopped was the Barnett booth, downtown Sturgis. And the thing had a Barnett clutch in it, of course, because, you have to if you're going to be cool. And, just having a chance for your crew and you guys to talk to Alex a bit about the bike, it just, where can people come? Because once they have a chance to talk to you guys, it really makes the decision easy.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we don't do a whole lot of shows anymore. I mean, we do like the drag specialties shows and the dealer training and that kind of thing. But as far as the big shows, I mean, Sturgis is really the only one that we do anymore. I mean, we take our big semi out there, and we got all the displays and the motorcycles and everything, and we actually make cables, and actually we're making brake lines now too. We'll make them there at our truck. So if your guy, I mean, every year we get people pulling in, and they've got vice grips on their clutch arm or their throttle cable wrapped around their hand, just so they can get into town, and then we measure them up and we make the cables that they need right there on the spot, and everybody's just thrilled for it. I mean, but really show-wise, I mean, there's not a whole lot of shows that we really go to anymore. I mean, a lot of the stuff now is just word of mouth and the social media. We're really trying to get bigger on there, and then everything's online. You can buy all of our product off our own website and everything. So, and then, I mean, you can always call if you've got questions, you don't know what clutch to use, or if you got an issue or fitment or whatever. I mean, we try to answer all the calls that we can and try to be sufficient about everything. So.
Okay.
But, I mean,
well, Mike Yorko's coming in from social media, and Mike says that he just bought a clutch yesterday from Barnett for his Land Speed Racer. Now, this is where we got to get a little side action going on, because Mike is in the same class as Jay Allen, and between the two of them, it's my class in Bonneville, and I'm never going to catch up to the two of them. So I'm not saying that you have to derail his efforts, but if you can just not give him a whole bunch of help, he's so far ahead of me right now.
Christopher,
listen, there's got to be some perks for this magazine.
Oh,
we'll give you the good guy discount.
There you go. Right on.
So you're doing Bonneville, Chris?
I did last year with the War Pony, with the bike that used to be the dresser that I rode around all over the place. And Danny from Zippers built this ridiculous motor. We took it to Burt Baker's thing and just ran a 117 in the 8th mile, and then took it to Bonneville with all intentions of racing it. And Drew at Tech broke my heart.
And that would be Drew Gatewood.
No, I knew it probably wasn't going to make it. It had open belt drive, and people told me that was going to be a problem, and I just couldn't do anything about it between Sturgis and Bonneville. So we went out and I ran it a little bit and took it through Tech to do the whole, hey, this is what you need to get ready for Bonneville. This is what we're going to do. And this year we're going back with it really ready to run. And last year I did get to do my rookie run, and I went through the whole, red stripe on the helmet, and after 8 years of going to Bonneville, I finally got to do my rookie run. But
you are going to run it, and you're going to kick ass.
This year
Just
it's
saying.
on. It's on.
Barnett equipped, of course.
That's right, baby.
So
how fast are you hoping to go on it?
Honestly, man, for me, it's not even about that top speed. It's literally just about being at Bonneville and doing anything. So
yeah.
if I did 150 on it, it would be awesome.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's definitely a totally different kind of racing. I mean, being out there. I mean, I'm in the 200-mile-an-hour club on a motorcycle, and I've been trying to build the bike for a couple of years now, and I just don't have the time and just too busy with everything else. But I definitely want to get back out there myself.
That shovel head that we were talking about earlier that Jim Libonetti built with me, that I got a ticket on that for 140 miles an hour, but that was completely unfair.
Yeah, unfair and unfair.
So yeah, I'm hoping this one. It's pretty slick. It's a pretty slick motorcycle, man. And like I said, Danny is a mad scientist at Zippers, and it's disgusting fast. Like that was 117 in the 8th mile happened at the Sturgis Dragway, without the right pipe, and the clutch was slipping. I mean, I have no idea how fast that bike's going to be. It'll be ridiculous.
Mike Yerko's shooting for 200 miles an hour this year.
Mike should absolutely make it. He is a nut.
And you got in the 200 chance. What were you piloting back then?
Then it was a Kawasaki that was built by that's when I was working at Corbin, and Rob Muzzy built it for us.
Okay,
nice.
So I actually went got in the 200-mile-an-hour club. The third time I was at Bonneville.
I see they're doing a lot of work to save the salt out there and do everything.
Yeah, they're really trying, and it's getting a little bit better each year. So it's getting there.
I think this year is going to be a really good year in Bonneville. We've talked to a lot of people that are making an effort to get there this year. Yep. It's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
I'm hooked.
I'm glad. This is something that it's a recurrent theme on the show. We keep talking about, as great as it is that flat track racing is coming back so strong. But for the land speed racers and the unsung heroes that are out there, like we try to do a Bonneville issue almost every year just to give those guys some love. And the drag racers again, like the local Friday night drag racing that's getting motorcycles going again. I'm super thrilled about that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, any way you can get on a motorcycle and do anything. I mean, it's better. Yeah. When you're in a bad mood, you get on your motorcycle, you go for a ride, you come back, you're in a better mood. It's like therapy.
Well, I keep talking about it. What's it release? Where dopamines are different things from the riding down the street. I mean, heck yeah, get on a bike. It solves a lot of stuff. It sure beats some of the alternatives. Yeah, hell yeah. What do you got coming up next? I mean, you're a busy man. I know you got a family and everything, but you find time to do some fun things.
Yeah, I'm thinking this weekend I might take a little ride and go up to the Quail up in Monterey. It's kind
nice.
I've been wanting to go for years, and I haven't made it up there. So I might just get on the bike and ride up there Saturday morning and just check it out, and then turn around and come back home. So
yeah, you have to say hi to Ken Coney for us. Our typical co-host is on that ride, and he's on his way up there now with the people from Why We Ride.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of pictures from that. That looked like a good deal there too. But I mean, other than that, just been working here, trying to get products out the door, and trying to come up with some new products and stuff too. So, I mean, we've been here for 71 years, and we don't want to go anywhere. So we got to keep up with the Joneses, and yeah.
What an accomplishment! It's sad to say that in our countries, in this time in our country, that's become such an anomaly. Like a near 100-year company is becoming a thing of the past. Like companies just don't do that anymore. You know, the families give up, and you know the big business that takes over just they don't care about the heritage.
Right. Yeah. No, it started family owned. It's still family owned, family run. I mean, everything that we make, everything that we sell, we make here in house. I mean, we don't farm anything out of the country all the materials are from the U.S. I mean, everything we do is everything in our building. We get sheets of aluminum, sheets of steel, whatever we got, bars for the billet aluminum baskets. I mean, we get 12-foot bars and cut them in the pieces on the slugs, and they go on the machines, and we make everything here. I mean, the only thing we don't do in our building is the chrome plating and the anodizing. It's just impossible in California.
Yeah.
I mean, for us to try to do that ourselves, so that we send out to other places, but. I mean, we try to just keep everything here. I mean, we've got better control everything. We know what kind of materials we have. We know what our tolerances are, and we know what works. So we're gonna continue doing it that way.
See, doesn't it make it easy just to do business with them? You don't have to worry about it anymore. Right. Just handled. He handled it for us.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, it's time consuming and gets frustrating or aggravating once in a while. But I mean, when you see the finished product, you know it's worth it. And you get emails or phone calls or people come up and talk to you and say how great the product is and stuff like that. I mean, it's worth it. It's worth it in the end for sure.
Well, you got a lot of guys on social media here that are fans. I know Darren McKeag he's trying to blame a couple things on you too. One was, let's see, I almost did 200 that night in Sturgis when Chris and Bill Dodge couldn't hold my front end. That was at the Baker Burnout Drags. That was 200 miles an hour up straight up though. That doesn't count, Darren. They measure in a linear fashion. He also says I did 200 miles an hour on my chopper that night at the Chip, 3 jars of moonshine, headed back to the Limp Nicky lot. He's hanging a lot of this on his Barnett equipped chopper. So
yeah, we get blamed a lot for guys burning their tires out and popping them because they're doing burnouts so big. But it's like, well, sorry, but clutch works. What can you say?
Yep. Right on, man. Well, listen, tell everybody where they can keep up with everything that's going on with Barnett's and all your new products.
Yeah, I mean, we've got our website, just barnettclutches.com. I mean, like I said earlier, I mean, we've got a search on there so you can put in the make and model of your motorcycle, and all of your different products will pop up, whether it's cables or brake lines or clutch plates or baskets. Or we pretty much make all that for dirt bikes, street bikes, UTVs, the side-by-sides. I mean, that's a really growing market right now.
Did I even see that you guys are involved a little bit in the vintage dirt bike world? You have applications for that too? Unreal.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I guess when you've been around since 71.
There's a lot of that going on now, too. Like, vintage dirt bike races are off the hook now.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of happening what happens to everybody. You get nostalgic at a certain age. Now, the difference thing is the first group of guys that got nostalgic about motocross, they finally remembered 1974. I remember 1974, but I was on an XR75. Right. So a Mako, Bultaco, and Osa doesn't mean as much to me from that genre. But now it's the mid-'80s and
Husky, baby, say it.
That's where.
Say
oh,
it.
you know you can't say it. Huh? But
say
that's
it.
Where it's going right now is this mid-'80s, and everyone's going, I got to buy a bike and refurbish it. But when you put a good clutch in something, now it's awesome what you guys. You could probably put up a list of what you don't make a clutch for, and it'd be about 3 things.
Yeah. No, I mean we do a lot of different things. I mean we got guys sending us clutch plates for lawnmowers and front end loaders, and we put the friction material on them, and we guys got sent us blanks for like the old Cannonball bikes and stuff. They'll cut out they'll cut out steel plates or aluminum plates, and then we'll bond the friction material for them, and then that way it's like a brand new bike again. So I mean we can do all that stuff here.
Hey, Chance, I do have a question in from social media for you. Let me get back to it here. Okay, Matt Smith with a question. He says, speak to Victory customers that run crappy diesel 1540 and wonder why they smoke their clutches.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing with our clutches, as long as it's a motorcycle-specific oil, I mean, any oil works with any motorcycle oil will work with our clutches. I mean, you don't want to put in like a car, like a Mobil 1, like car oil, because it doesn't have the right friction modifiers in it and stuff. But all the different brands that are out there, I mean, whether it's like Drag Specialties or whatever, I mean, Redline or Mobil 1, the V-Twin oil, I mean, all those oils work. Honda Line, Yamalube. I mean, as long as it's for a motorcycle wet clutch, I mean, it's good with our clutches, no problems.
Right on.
Are you guys still in the dry clutch game much?
Oh yeah, we sell thousands of the Ducati clutches still. I mean, for the old 916s, the 996s, and all that. I mean, we still make those. All the different belt drive companies that are out there that are still in business. I mean, we make steel and friction plate kits for those because they always wear out. So I mean, we've got those still too. The old Nortons. I mean, we make clutch plates for them still. So
a lot of that
the BSAs. I mean, all those bikes. We have everything. Not everything, but pretty much everything.
A lot of that stuff's still on the street, man. It is.
Yeah.
Thanks to Barnett, it is.
Yeah, right. Right on. Well, listen, Chance, man, thanks for coming on with us. I appreciate you taking the time, and I'm hoping that it won't be real long before we get you back on again. Now that we got you dialed in on all that technology, it'll be easy.
Yeah, now we know how to do it.
Oh, now that Jennifer's got the office shaped up there, we could have a weekly, the Barnett Minute.
Checking in with Barnett.
Yeah, we're here. Let's check us out.
All right, man. Well, thanks again, and we'll be talking to you again real soon.
Okay, thanks.
All right, buddy.
All right, see you guys.
Later, my friend.
Bye, Rob.
There's I just have to say, there's a whole little reunion going on
I
in the
know,
comments here. You
I
seeing
know,
this?
it's so cool.
So great.
It is. That's badass.
So great. Oh, sorry, Mitch. We didn't see your question before we let him go. But if you go to barnettclutches.com, there's a link in there. You can put in the year, make, and model, and it will tell you if they have it.
He has a 1985 GSXR 750 LTD with the dry clutch.
Okay.
And the bikes are only red, white, and blue. I'm guessing.
Is that what you have, Magoo? Is Rob?
Where's he
Rob
at?
correct?
Where's he at?
He was down a little farther. I saw his thing.
Magoo. What's shaking?
Down, down, down.
I'm going.
The question was
the wrong way.
The other way.
You're going the wrong way.
Yeah, see right there?
Any clutch plates for GSXR 750 LTD. I would bet, knowing these cats and what we just went through.
I mean,
hell yeah.
He's talking Norton featherbeds. He got clutch for that. He'll bind you some fibers on or something. There's nothing he can't do.
Nope. So I want to remind you guys we are coming to you through the courtesy of the Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorney Studio here with Shop Talk every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We go live with 90 to 120 minutes of all the bullshit we can fit, sprinkle in some news, talk some trash, tell old stories that may or may not be true. And
unfortunately, most of them are true.
We call it all Shop Talk, and we put it out there for God and everyone. So hope you join in. Thank you for being here with us tonight. We still got a little bit of news to take care of, but real quick, I'm going to do some business for the magazine, or for the show, magazine, show. It all blends together. Stick around. We'll be right back.
What are you looking forward to? Watching these guys crash these bikes.
Don't tell Mom.
Hi, this is Joe from Motion Pro, and today we're going to talk about one of our many time-saving tools for use on your Harley-Davidson motorcycle, our clutch spring compression tool. Whether you're replacing just the clutch plates or rebuilding the entire primary, this tool will help make that job a snap. Designed to replace OEM part number 38515A, it is intended for use on 90 to 97 Big Twins and 91 and later Sportsters. For your specific model, please feel free to go to motionpro.com and use the search by vehicle function to see it on your specific model. The tool includes two separate push rods, one for use on the Big Twin applications and one for use on Sportsters and Buells. Little hint, the Sportster Buell rod is hollow. Please make sure to refer to your service manual for the specifics on your machine. With the push bolt fully seated, you can now install the body of the tool. With the body of the tool installed, you can now compress the spring and remove the circlip. The Motion Pro clutch spring compression tool makes compressing the diaphragm spring quick, easy, and safe, allowing for a quick removal of the circlip. The Motion Pro clutch spring compression tool is available online or at dealers nationwide. Thanks for watching.
If you like this video and like to see more, make sure to subscribe to Motion Pro's YouTube channel right here.
So look, baby, more tools that I want from Motion Pro.
All right. So I posted a link to Camp Zero while you were playing that commercial, and I just happened to notice they're having a PB&J run. They're doing a ride where the lunch is you get to make your own peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And that's going to be Patrick Garvin riding that. We need to run in that. We need to go on that. I want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Have you got those crustable things yet for like the kids for their lunches?
Yeah.
So I only like them frozen, like right out of the freezer. They're so good.
So
they
listen,
kind of almost break a tooth, but not quite. They're awesome.
We have so much coming up, but one of the things I want to talk about real quick is we made a little bit of a faux pas. So you guys know we've been advertising it. We're coming to the Realities Ride right around the corner, May 25th. There was some confusion of who launched the actual event for it on Facebook, and we had one up, and they asked us to take it down because they had one up, and all of a sudden a few of you guys were confused whether or not the event was canceled. The event is absolutely not canceled. You can see we're bringing the old-time bike games. We have our custom bike show. We're actually even going to be doing a show, I believe at a kickoff party. We're going to tell you about that coming up soon, but we're going to do a ShopTalk show from there. But the Realities Ride is on in full vigor.
And that is Memorial Day weekend in Fort Collins, Colorado. That will be an inaugural event for us in Colorado. We've not done a show there before. So all you Colorado peeps, please come. Bring your friends. It won't suck. I hope.
Magoo was on here. Another thing that Magoo reached out to us. It's got to be damn near a year ago to start talking about this, right?
Okay, Big Fish. It was like 2 months ago.
On the air. You got to call me out on the air. You can't save that stuff for the bedroom, huh? So yeah, the Outlaw Street Open Twin
Stock. Call you Minnow.
I know. Open Twin Stock Production Street Bike Racing. Sunday, July 21st and September 15th, 2019. Every Thursday, March through October. New England Speedway. Hit them up on... I can't read that small.
Neither can I.
Well, you should put a link up. You should say this is...
will.
I'll put a link up.
I'm working on it.
I'll put a link up to where those races go.
I'll put a link up.
Rob, what do you got coming up? Where are you going next? You're always on the move, dude.
We're just wrapping up Supercross, which will be this weekend in Vegas, and then there's one weekend off, and then Sacramento down to San Diego, over to Colorado, then back to High Point in Morgantown, West Virginia. Then we have another little break.
I gotta take Heather to High Point this year.
You have to.
Have to take her.
Please.
I know the announcer. The guy's awesome.
She's never been to High Point. She's never been to Steel City.
Come there. Well, Steel City's gone.
When is it?
I know, dude.
It will be in roughly 5 or 6 weeks when we get there.
Okay. Well,
I'm gonna have to
hopefully
look.
we're
I
here.
want like the 18th, maybe.
Oh, let me know. Let me know.
I'll let you know.
I want to go. You got it up.
The very next thing for us, see, I'm good. I'm paying attention. The very next thing for us is Friday, May 17th, our first bike show at the Suck Bang Blow. We're super fired up about this. I haven't been to Myrtle since back in the days of the Broken Spoke.
Wow.
Sleeping on the couches. I slept on the couches there.
Right on.
Yeah.
So the night before this will be our first Shop Talk Live. We are going to do Shop Talk Live from Suck Bang Blow.
With Jack Shit.
With Jack Shit.
Does he know that yet?
Well, he does now because I think he's watching. With Jack Shit. And I hope Brother Speed is going to be there so we can get you guys in tune with a little bit of motorcycle history. That show is Thursday, May 16th for Shop Talk Live at Suck Bang Blow at Myrtle Beach. And Mom, it is about how a combustion engine works. Get your mind out of the gutter. She called me on that, by the way, Miss Judy. And the bike show is the following Friday, May 17th.
So also right around the corner is Laconia Bike Week. Super fired up to be back at the Roadhouse. We're going to be doing our bike show there. We have the old time bike games coming up there. We have the whole week of Grease and Gears Garage. It's going
Now,
to
when
be
you say old time bike games, the keg race, the
Yeah.
weenie
Keg
bite,
race,
all that
weenie
stuff.
bite, yep. All the,
All right.
you know, and this is
You're bringing back the Gypsy Tour.
It was we do a gypsy tour too.
Okay.
This is what's funny about that in Laconia. Now, oldest motorcycle rally in the country, right?
96 years this year.
We did old time bike games last year. Now the Roadhouse is the place right across from the sign, the Weirs Beach sign. So we're at the epicenter of the rally, and we did these old time bike games. People came out in droves. They were amazed. They're like, "What is this?" And I'm like, "Really? We're at the oldest bike event in the country. This is how motorcycle events happen. Like people rode to a place and they played games on motorcycles, man. It was so awesome, but they loved it.
They dressed up.
Yeah, they did.
Ties
They
and
did,
suits
dude.
and hats.
It was an
dapper
affair.
as could be.
So,
it was an affair.
and I think that Tuesday in Laconia, we're going to be doing some dirt drags. Run what you brung dirt drags.
How about that? Hillbilly uphill.
Like total,
gotcha.
Oh, yeah,
total
yeah, yeah.
hillbilly. Up there, it's redneck. Dirt drag. So be prepared for that. Chris, Mike Yurko wants to know what happened to my finger.
Go ahead and tell him, Drama.
Drama, you crushed it.
She asked me like all week long if she could come and help at the shop because I'm cleaning the shop up, and I give her credit. She puts her dirt girl pants on and she puts in the work. So we took 5 truckloads of scrap out of the shop. We're cleaning a whole new section of the shop out. 5 truckloads we took out of there, and on the 5th truckload we're moving an old ass like cast iron compressor tank, right? And as we're pulling it out in the scrapyard, it smashed her finger. And God, I wanted to die, dude. I wanted to die because there's nothing worse than like, you know the next week of your life is going to be hell when you hurt your old lady.
No, thankfully it was just my pinky. It could have been my whole hand. It's healing and it will be just fine.
Darren McCaig says motorbike riders were quite fashionable back then. It was, hey, you used to get extra points, man. Like if you went to an AMA road race and your club was uptight and had their shit together, you got extra points, and that worked out somehow. I don't know how.
Oh, you ever see those big panoramic views when they're sitting? I mean, they are dressed to the nines.
One of my favorite events for that we don't get to participate in because we're usually busy is the Ride of Distinguished Gentlemen.
Yeah.
Where you have to be as dapper as you can be.
Yeah.
And I like it even more because all of the funds go to prostate cancer research and helping people. So, which that's a very near and dear thing to me. So if you're interested in being a dapper gentleman, please do that ride.
So, hey, coming up faster than we can even believe also is the Tennessee Motorcycle Music Revival, the BC Moto Classic, which everybody knows about this now. I'm lucky enough that me and Mark are getting invited as Flat Broke, looking for a good time down there on the Loretta Lynn's Ranch. So
I'm very familiar with that place.
That's what I was just going to say, dude. How about this thing?
Hurricane Mills, Tennessee.
Right? Oh, goodness.
You pull into the campground, you got the graveyard on the left. You come up over the hill. You're on Stagecoach Hill, and you crest it. And there's the vast valley down there. Miss Loretta's first tour bus is there, and her recording studio's on site, and the big house. It's something. Then they got the Lynn's little convenience store right across the street. I've spent many a time down Loretta Lynn's.
I know you did. That was the home of the AMA.
It still is. It still is. Biggest. If you win there, you got a quick ticket to the pro class, and certainly everybody knows who you are in the industry if you're able to pull it off. They only ride there 1 week a year. You don't go there and practice. You don't race there in September, October. You go there 1 week, and if you get it done, you emerge from there as a bad dude or dudette, whichever one you are.
Yeah. Hey, Darren McCaig is reminding me that a lot of the country right now is facing incredible flooding. So we want to send our thoughts and prayers out to you guys. Anybody that's going through this, please, if there's any special need that arises that we can pass on to our whole community, let us know. But our prayers are with you guys to make it through this.
Amen.
And how about you, Blondie? You done for the night? You ready to wrap?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're good. We covered everybody. If I missed you, I apologize. It was a fantastic show tonight, Rob. Thank you so much
of this
for coming
guy here.
No, stop it. You guys are too kind, and I'm super humbled and honored to even have a chance to come and hang out with you guys. And
listen, he's bullshitting right now.
No, I'm not.
He's my brother, so he's being nice. This is the real talent. This man. Listen, every step of the way, like when I started doing Rally TV, I still remember you coming out and taking me, and you said, hey, I'm going to do this with you. It'll be fun. But you were teaching me how to do this shit. Like you took me on the main street of Daytona and said, here, watch this. And you'd grab a guy and like the shit that you would pull, man, like those were all lessons to.
Yeah, but I've watched you, dude, you guys, the two of you, folks, here's the whole thing in a nutshell. I mean, what I'm so happy is that every single week, the topic of the day is discussed. History's never forgotten. Where it's going is going to be explained, and it right now the motorcycling community can't be in better hands than what you two do down here all the time. So I think this is nothing but just an amazing experience. Just to be around you guys, I appreciate it a great deal, and like I said, if you guys need help and I can help, I'd be happy to, because it's just such a good thing.
Oh, you're the man, dude. It's an honor for you to have for you to sign on to what we're doing. One more time, I want to remind everybody we're coming to you through the courtesy of the Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorneys in the studio. Shop Talk every Thursday night, 9 p.m. They bring it to you. We appreciate them. We appreciate all of our sponsors, man. Like so many people are signing on for this. The Buffalo Chip came on big. They're bringing us out to all their followers all the time. We can't thank you guys enough, and especially to our social media family. You guys sharing, doing it, getting this thing out there. It takes it, where it needs to go, man. So thank you for letting us into your headspace. And another week, man, another show. And thank you guys for being here with me.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Till next week, same chopper time, same chopper channel. That's an old Batman joke. He gets it.
I know.
Say good night, Chris.
You shush. Good night, Chris. Good night, Rob.
Thank you very much. Everybody
night,
have
John
a great
Boy.
time. Get out and ride. Woo-hoo.